you should trust. For sure it ain't right that I have checked the speck of dust from all of its sides. Fall down, that from my height, cause I didn't see the plank I have in my eye. You hear yourself when no one's to be found. What keeps you eased out? What takes you off your mind?
Guess you want this, I want this. Everybody in this, we should have it. Stop illusions, it's in your hands. Show yourself, reveal it to them. Check the time to.
So let me. How are you, beautiful people? How you doing? Hi.
Miguel does that when he doesn't know what to say. When he's like caught by surprise. We're trying out a new streaming system, so if there's some hiccups, just bear with us. Have some grace with us.
Yeah. So no, I just realized that. So it is. We are live.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we are live, and is it to public or friends or? Yeah, it is to public. So everybody has it. So here's the only thing now, is that we're not able to either view the count, because we normally have like it'll show how many people are on the view here.
They can't see. They can't see when you click on it. So on our screen, there's a little thing that tells us how many people are watching.
Right.
However, right now, we won't be able to see that. And if you comment and we don't get back to you, it's not because we didn't want to comment. It's honestly because right now, we're still trying to figure out the system, so we can't see it. So we will go back and answer your comments or your questions, okay?
Okay, relax.
I'm trying to give our audience a beautiful experience and explain them.
You're so political.
Please.
And then...
Anyway, so welcome everybody to our podcast From Vision to Success. I am Maria Bunt.
And I am Miguel Martinez.
And we're here to chat with you, to spend some time with you, and to... What else?
And to discuss this so it's too bad that we can't talk about what we talk about in our pre-shows. No, in our pre-shows.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly,
because it's bang on with what we were talking about.
Yeah. So I mean, like Miguel and I, we have lives, obviously, right? And we have things that we do outside of our podcast, and it's incredible how sometimes there's conflict in the things that we do, right? Just because we are here sharing with you our experience doesn't mean that we don't go through conflict, that we don't have hard times or issues with people sometimes.
Yeah. So I found out something that somebody, and I want to be careful how much I say here.
Okay, tell me now. I'm all intrigued. Who said what?
No, I can't. But there are, and I already knew this, that I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Right? I knew that. I get it. Right?
It still stings though, right? Like, at least for me, it stings a little bit.
I'm getting better.
Okay.
I'm getting so much better. Before it was like I would devastate it and I'd just cut the person off out of my life. I'm like, well, I want nothing to do with you and all these different things.
Yeah.
But now it's like, first of all, I wasn't expecting this person.
Oh, okay.
So somebody...
Close circle, somebody that you see frequently, weekly, let's say?
No, don't.
Just kidding. Frequently, we'll say.
Don't dig.
Okay, I'll dig after. Don't worry. I'll give you the tea later.
But I wasn't expecting
How did you find out about it? Okay.
I can't.
But was it? I guess it was shocking and surprising the way that you found out.
I had an inkling.
Okay.
That no, I didn't. I didn't have an inkling. I knew that something happened, and I was like, whatever. But no, nothing, no inkling. But I'm okay. And I'm okay because I know my conscience is clear.
Yeah.
Right. And they are allowed to feel like that.
Yeah.
They are allowed to feel ill feelings.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah. And so before it would be like devastating, right? Like, that's it. I want nothing to do with this person and I'm cutting them off.
Who do they are?
Yeah. And all these different things.
I'm still like that.
But now.
Only so much growth a person can do. Come on. Still got to be petty somewhere.
Oh, wait. I think we do see a chat here. Oh, wait.
Oh, no. That's the actual one.
No, it says here, chat.
Oh, okay.
One Stream Live simplifies live streaming for you. Ask us anything.
That's their helpline, Miguel. That's not people chatting with us.
That is their helpline. Oops.
Oh, we're still figuring that out. So not to worry.
Yeah, but I'm okay, and I think and to tell you the truth, I think that all it would have gone better, or it would be better between this person or these people and I, is if there was a little bit of just like, let's talk, listen to your side, now you listen to my side, and let's just put each other in each other's shoes, right? And it would be, I'm telling you, like as it would, it would be a different story. Yeah. But
it is what it is at times.
It is what it is. So how do we get? And again, I always ask this question: How do we become empathetic?
So as you can tell, our topic for today is empathetic. Being empathetic.
Listeners.
Empathetic listeners. So here's the thing about listening. We go through formal years of education, right? Where we're taught how to read, we're taught how to communicate, how to speak, public speaking, we're taught how to write. So we go through years of this, right? But we're never really taught how to listen. So a lot of us just listen to respond, right? Like, come on, you've experienced that. I've experienced that when somebody's telling me their story. And then what initially I want to do, or my innate like kind of contribution is like, I want to fix it. So I'm already thinking of things that I can say to either help the person feel better or to help them fix something that I think it's going on, right?
Okay.
But in all reality, people don't want that. People just want to be heard. So one of the first steps towards empathetic listening is almost resisting the urge to input. Just listening to what the person says, listening to what the emotion is behind it, watching for cues of feeling, because a lot of communication is not just what we say. Actually, what we say is only 10% of it, but a lot of it is the tone and the body language, right? Like I can say, I'm fine. Do I look fine?
No, and I've been there.
That's so true.
I've been there with you, especially.
I know.
Oh my gosh! When did this happen? This was recent.
Twice, I think. It happened twice.
Yeah, it happened twice. The first one was like, it was so. Yeah,
it was bound to happen, Miguel. We spent time together, like. It was bound to happen, but I went home to Mike, and I was like, honestly, I don't want to have these conversations. I'm like, I already have these conversations with Mike, and Miguel now too. I'm like, I'm drained. I'm not supposed to have a conversation like this with another man. No, honestly, I was like drained because I'm like,
yeah, it was. I was scared. I was just like here and I'm watching you, and I'm like, okay, and you were like,
I was upset. Out. Yes, I was upset.
You were very
upset. Then he was like. And he's like, are we okay? And I'm like, yeah, we're okay. He's like, okay. He's like, we're not okay. So.
But here, I wouldn't let you go until we squashed it.
It's so true. Because I myself was ready to go.
Yeah, I know.
I myself was like, listen, I'm fine. Like, it's fine, right?
And I'm like, no, you're not.
But that's the great thing. That's what you were doing. You were listening for feeling. I told you one thing with my words, but my tone and my body language says something completely different, right?
So what's the thing that you say? It's communication is 10%.
10% what we say.
10% what we say.
30% the tone that we use.
The tone, okay.
Okay, and then 60% is the body language that we use.
Okay.
So I have a.
Can you turn that heat off? No, honestly, I'm dying right here. What has happened?
Well, thank you. I didn't even realize this was on.
I am so hot.
There, it's on.
Holy stink.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so let me give you an experience that I had recently, right? So I had a little bit of conflict with someone that I know.
Mike.
Always. But this is a different person, right? Because I'm like, with Mike, we were able to work it through. Whatever it is, even however much time we need it, we can work through our conflicts.
Have you ever just wanted to or just punched him? You have, haven't you?
Yes.
That's abuse, dude.
That's okay. That was not my that's not my greatest.
You're being real.
Yeah, for sure. One time we got in such a big fight that I felt like he was in my face, and I was like, don't be in my face. And then
so you punched him.
I didn't full out punch. I don't know. It's kind of blurry. I don't remember the details.
Not the face, probably the body.
But listen, he was in my face, not in a bad way. I do have to say, Mike and I have our fights are awesome. We're good, right?
Yeah.
But
body, not the face, but the body. You punched the body.
I don't remember. I don't remember what I punched. I just swung. I know. No, I only done it once, and I wasn't proud of that moment, right? But I was so heated. I was so in the moment, and he was heated and so in the moment too. So one of the things when him and I first got married, he was very, very calm.
Yeah.
And then what he says is that 12 years later, I brought this fire out of him, which now I'm like trying to like tone down that fire. I'm like shh, like trying to like. So now I'm a lot more mindful. I'm not as like intense as I was in the past. Anyway, back to the
I've punched one kid before.
like full out. And by one kid he means one of his kids, not a
No. I know this is like when I was in. Actually, no, I've gotten into 3 fights in my life. But anyways, that's besides the point. We were talking about punching. But anyways, go ahead.
So just to share a personal anecdote, big word.
That is, I have no idea what that means.
A personal story. So this happened to me recently, right?
Okay.
I felt some conflict with someone that I knew. It was off-putting because I had no idea if I had done anything wrong.
Yeah. Keep going.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Well, I can't focus if you're looking at something
Really?
else. Anyway, so
you mean to tell me I have to be looking at you?
no, you don't.
Okay.
Anyway, so I had some conflict with someone. I wasn't exactly sure if I did something. And then I ran into them and I asked them. And here's my telltale signs when somebody has a problem with me, okay? They said they were fine, but they couldn't maintain eye contact with me. I said, are you sure? Their tone was like a short tone, but yet they said they were fine. Again, didn't maintain eye contact with me. And even though they tried to maintain a conversation with me, the tone was forced.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, it doesn't matter what you say. What matters is the tone and the body language that comes across with it. That's why it's very important that when you're listening or you're practicing empathetic listening, is that you're not just listening to the person, the words that are being said, but you're looking at emotion, you're looking at how a person is acting. You're taking the whole person as your clues as far as what's going on.
So, again, going back to what I was saying is how do you acquire empathetic listening?
You have to practice. You have to not try to fix somebody else's problem.
I know, but see, that's I'm telling you right now, and not to.
It's not helpful.
Yeah, it's not because it's such a blanket statement. It's like saying I want to get strong. We'll just go to the gym.
So you need the minute, like you need the how to.
Like the what. Well, what is so? Okay, great. I'm going to the gym now. What? Well, you need to do bench presses if you want to work out the chest. You're gonna need to do arm curls if you want to work out the biceps. So it's like I want to be strong in upper body. Or do you want to be strong in your lower body? You're gonna have a higher core. So there's specific things. So by saying you just need to practice, well, practice what?
You have to practice putting yourself in the other person's shoes.
That's it.
And trying to understand how they feel how they see the world.
That's it.
There you go. See?
That's the money shot right there. and it is hard sometimes putting ourselves in other people's it's hard to put ourselves in other people's shoes because so I'm actually wearing a shirt that says take a leak.
I would only expect that from Miguel, of
No,
course.
it's an acronym. It's an acronym, dude. So it says take a leak. And it's a workshop that I do.
Okay.
And it stands for listening, empathetic. A, accept the fact that you might be wrong. C, communicate. And then C, compromise. There's actually supposed to be another C. This is a gift from one of a youth student that I used to work with. But listening is number 1. 2 is empathy. And 3, that's when it becomes hard because then you have to put yourself, after listening and putting yourself in their position, you have to come to a realization or accept the possibility that you might be wrong in this situation. And that is a tough pill to swallow because it's you're being prideful. Well, I'm wrong. I'm right and you're wrong. And there's no way that I could be wrong.
What if you're just trying to listen to help someone? Like, how would you...
What do you mean?
Well, you're not necessarily you're empathetic listening. What if your friend is going through something and they're sharing with you? Like how do you practice empathetic listening? Because technically at that point you're not fighting. Or I guess you do think that your point of view is better, so you might be trying to share your point of view with them instead of just listening.
What?
I was trying to process it in my mind. Don't worry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. What do you mean?
No, because I'm thinking about, sometimes we think about empathetic listening when there's conflict, right? When we're working through conflict with someone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what about empathetic listening? Let's say if one of our kids is going through something, how do we practice empathetic listening?
Yeah. And I think other things get in the way with that's a good question. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things like you did say is that we have to, this is the thought that I've been having with regards to my kids and parenting, is that listen empathetically means that I don't always know exactly what they're going through. They're growing up in a different time.
No.
I didn't have the technology. I didn't have the, the way that the world is right now with all the different types of even identities, like all these new things, new concepts that are coming. So I think when you are listening to your child or to your kid or your youth, you need to come from a place of truly trying to understand what they're living through and not playing your own autobiography and saying, well, I went through something similar, which in reality, maybe you did, maybe you didn't.
Yeah.
How can you, one of the things, okay, so are you ready for a story? Get ready for a story.
Okay, go.
So I've been studying a lot empathetic listening, right?
Okay.
And there's a story that Stephen R. Covey shares in his book. And one of the things that he says is that, there's this person that's having some difficulty seeing. He goes to the optometrist and he tells him the difficulty he's seeing. And the optometrist says, okay, I know what you're going through. Let me do something for you. So he goes and he takes off his glasses. He gives it to him. The guy goes, he puts them on and he's like, I can't see a thing. And the guy's like, well, what do you mean you can't see a thing? I've worn these glasses for years. I can see everything. They've helped me so much. Just try a little harder. And the guy's like, I'm trying, but I literally cannot see a thing. And then the optometrist says, you know what? You're ungrateful. Here I am taking my own personal glasses, giving them to you, and yet you're complaining. And the guy's like, I cannot see. So it goes to show you that a lot of us, whenever we're responding to people, we don't actually wait to understand what the problem is. Yeah. Rather, we're giving a prescription that has helped us, but yet it's not doing anything for the other person. Yeah. So that's the example of empathetic listening.
I've been there before. Actually, one very embarrassing situation. There was a kid, a teenager. No, not a teenager. In his 20s. Miguel, I need to talk to you, whatever. So we went out for coffee. I grabbed hot chocolate. And they started talking. And then immediately I thought I knew the answer. So they went 5-7 minutes into their conversation. And then I immediately went into well, I know what's wrong. And so then I went on a 20-minute tangent, right? How to help this kid. And then bless his heart, he was just listening and listening, being respectful and whatever. And at the end I was like, yeah, that's not
that's not helpful.
Well, he goes, that's not my problem. That's not what I'm going through. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, what are you going through? And he goes, well, he goes, it's actually the second part of my story. And I'm like, oh, there's another part. But I will always, and this was young in the business, and so I will always remember that you got to give people time to say everything, right? To express everything. And then listen, and then go into that conversation with a really blanket mindset. And then, because whatever advice you think that you have going in might not even be the advice after you've heard the entire story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, go for your second story.
Well, even it's in the book that I've been reading, it says that majority of people are able to work out through their problems as they're sharing the story with you. Yeah. I've had that where I've talked I've talked so much and I was like, oh, maybe I should have done this and this and this. And I've been able to come up with my solution just by sharing. And then there's other times where I haven't, where I've asked for help. But here's the kicker. You have to wait till the person asks you, what do you think? Kind of thing. Yeah. Which is hard to do.
Yeah, I've said that a couple of times. People, when they tell you their problems, they're one of two things. They're expecting one of two things. Number one, either they're just expecting to be heard, and that's it. They don't want anything else. They just want to be heard, and then they're okay with that. Or number two is they're actually looking for suggestions, and answers and advice. But that's why it's so important that when you go into that conversation, that you ask. And there's nothing wrong with asking. Literally, so when I've gone even with my own kids, when I've gone into conversations, okay, you're about to tell me what's going on at school. you're asking for one of two things. Number one, are you asking for advice, like what to do, or do you just want to be heard? And it is incredible, especially with my second born. 9 times out of 10, he just wants to be heard.
Yeah.
But the old me, I would have been like, wouldn't even ask. He would have said what he would have said, and I would have been giving advice, and I could see like, here he goes with the sermons.
I know, being like,
Right.
okay, Dad, like
Yeah.
that was your time, not my time.
Yeah, and so that's not what he wanted, right? So
Yeah.
it's very, very important that, and again, I think it's part of empathetic listening.
It sounded like licking, empathetic licking.
It's very important to empathetic licking. But it's to ask. And if they say, I just want to be heard, even though you know the answer and even though it's plain as day as can be,
You have to keep it in.
You have to hold it in. You got to keep it in, because you literally will be doing more harm than good.
It's true. It's such an important emotional, like think of yourself as having a bank, right? Somebody
Yeah.
listening to you is such a huge deposit in the level of trust that you have with someone else.
Yeah.
If somebody's always telling you what to do and you don't feel like that person understands you, that's taking away from that bank, because that person's like, why would I even share it to them? They never listen anyway.
Yeah.
As opposed to truly like putting on your listening hat and being like, okay, let's do this. Like,
Yeah.
even if we can't figure out, let me just listen and try to understand.
So okay. So somebody comes up to you, they tell you, this is what I'm going through, this is what's happening, and they're telling you their story. You know the answers. How do you finish it off?
I don't finish it off because it's not my...
No. How do you finish? Like, how do you end the conversation? Do you just walk away knowing that you have the answer? Or like, what do you do? Is there anything that you say? Like, I know what I say.
I think it's depending, because that's one of the areas that I am working on. I'm working on not like actually listening and not just blabbering on. Right now I'm thinking mostly the person that I'm really working with or that I want to be better for is Mike, because in the past he's shared some stuff with me, right, or whatever, and then I've tried to either tell him what to do or like try to interpret his feelings and anything like that, and he's never asked me to do that. So sometimes I just leave it quiet. I don't I don't know if I follow it up. I don't know. I think I just kind of leave it as it is, and just the moment will naturally have a break, and then either the person will change the subject or the person will ask for advice.
Okay. Yeah, what I normally say, and when I'm doing counseling and stuff like that, it's thank them for sharing.
Yeah.
Like, right. So it's a 3-step process. Number one, you thank them, thanking so much for sharing. Then you empathize or you sympathize, and like I can't imagine what you're going through, or maybe you do. Maybe it's a passing of a father, right? I'm like, I can't empathize with that. But like I went through the exact same thing, and just thinking whatever, all this other stuff. Then number 3 is, I mean, like if you ever just let them know that you have suggestions, but they're going to receive it in their time.
Yeah.
So what I always say is like, thank you so much for whatever for sharing. I can't imagine with what you're going through. I'm here for you if you ever need any help. I may have some ideas, tools or tricks or tips that can help you. But like whenever you're ready, and then that way that person leaves the conversation knowing that they've been heard, and if and when they're ready to receive tools, they know that they can come back to me.
It's funny, as you were saying that, it took me back to one time when I called you, like last summer when I was going through it with my dad.
Yeah.
And I remember that morning feeling so overwhelmed. And I remember, so I called Miguel, excuse me. And when I called you, I remember one of the things that you said to me. You were like, okay, do you want me to listen to you, or do you want me to like give you input? And I was like, I don't know, Miguel. I don't know what I want. But at that same time, I remember you just listened, right? And then at the end, you were like, okay, I don't know if you said, do you want my input? But you did ask.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you did ask.
I did.
And then at that point, I remember I was so, like, it was such in a low point. And then you actually talked to me with regards to, like, ensuring that I was doing the right things to kind of make deposits within myself to be able to go through the hard that I was going through. I always remember that conversation because I was like, thank you.
And then a couple of weeks later, she's chewing me out in person.
Yeah. No, that happened months later. Just kidding.
If you've never got into an argument with a Latina woman,
Oh, please. I don't like.
don't do it. Don't do it. What was your I don't want to say non-proudest moment, but what was like when the fiery Latina has come out
With who? With Mike?
with anyone?
With anyone? Oh, I've had a lot of it. Like previous me, I would say the last couple of years, I've like dialed it back quite a bit.
Yeah.
But prior to that, now my proudest moment was when I was in my 20s. Somebody took my parking spot. It was during Christmas, and I was tired. I was like late for work. I worked at Telus, right? And so I was like rushing with like 2 minutes to spare. And I had my signal, and the person just went in. Instead of just walking away, maybe doing a little yelling from my car, you know what I did? Guess.
You honked the horn?
No.
You slashed the tires?
No, I didn't. I
Fu-
parked my car. I like put it on parking. I came out, bang on the thing. That was my spot. I'm like, so.
I would have done the same thing though.
Listen.
I would have done the exact same thing.
I know, but in all honesty, I'm like, did it have to be done? No. Oh, here's a recent non-proud moment. So when Raquel started going to her school's 40 minutes or 30 to 40 minutes away, and it's a lot of driving, right?
Yeah.
So I was of the mindset that I was always in the right when I was driving. There was no way that I could be wrong when I'm driving, and I'm busy being critical of everybody else, right? And it's really making me an angry driver because I'm spending a lot more time in the car. So my lowest moment happens at Raquel's school, where I totally changed my tune after that. So I go and I'm like, because I mean, the polite thing to do when you are coming out of a kiss and ride lane is like one car goes, the other one goes. You know, like you kind of take turns.
Yeah.
But not everybody does that, right? So I was upset that the person wasn't waiting for me. I'm like coming out of Raquel's school. There's a ton of kids. I don't even mind the kids. I'm like honking at this guy. The guy's honking back at me. He's like yelling at me. I'm like yelling at him. The teacher, the like outside teacher's like looking at me. Here's like a mom in a minivan yelling at somebody. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, I can't believe I just did that.
Yeah.
One, the guy could have hit my car. Second, I wasn't a great example to Raquel. Thankfully, she was already inside the school while I was behaving crazy. But that was my turning point. I was like, no.
Elias called me. He's like, I'm not a Latino. And I'm like, why? He's like, I haven't seen a Latino outburst yet.
Oh, you don't have to have an outburst. There's people that are calm. There's like my mom is very, very calm.
So we have a couple of comments here.
Okay.
So Josh Davis says Maria blackout bunt.
No, is that because of that? Seriously, I have done. I have so many of those stories, so let me not.
So Mike confirms that you punched his body.
Oh, okay. Whew. He is a tall man. I was like, I was so angry that I just swung. I'm like, I must have hit something. I was hoping that it was not his face, because what kind of wife does that? Seriously. Thank you, babe.
Josh says here, where I struggle in empathetic listening is trying to solve their problems. I've had to learn to just hear and understand and let the other person unburden themselves.
Yes, Josh. Honestly, that's me too. It's
Yeah.
so hard not to. And then in my mind, I'm like, why don't you let me fix it? I know what's wrong with your life. Let me fix it. Just do what I say.
Josh says he always ends with, I love you.
Is that to everybody? Or is he talking about like his wife? Like,
He just says he ends it with I love you.
that's so nice, Josh.
Yeah. Wow, Josh. Thank you so much, Josh. Nobody cares, Josh.
Like, Miguel's a little jelly.
Oh my gosh, my kids, they love Josh.
Yeah.
Like, to another level. Like it's just stupid disgusting. And so I'm like,
Are you gonna cut him out?
No,
Are you
no,
gonna cut
no,
him
no.
off?
Well, why don't you let him be your dad then? And they're like, Dad, we just like him. I'm like,
Well, what did you call him, Dad?
why don't you call him Dad? Just hang out with him then instead of me. Yeah. Salty. We have another comment here. Nope, that was from the testing. So many people have been commenting on my, how I had to test the new thing.
Yeah. Where you're like picking your nose.
I was not picking my nose.
It looks like it on the still.
Oh, was it?
A little bit.
We have another comment here. He says here.
Who says what?
I know. Hang on, man.
Tell me.
Jeez. It says here. Oh, Alexander Lopez. Oh. You're gross. And Alexander Lopez says Latinas is not bad to argue with. I believe African Americans are more difficult or more about the same, but not hard when you listen. ¿Qué pasó, Miguel? ¿Qué tiempo? What's up, yo? He just threw that in there. Nice to see you too, man. Rivera says, I was waiting for Maria to say, I told you, tu madre. So my mom, when she's arguing with my kids, that's what she says, not tu madre. Like, so you have this little old 84-year-old lady.
She's not 84.
How old is she? 80.
Did she just have her 80th birthday?
Okay, 81, 82. Okay, whatever.
He was like,
It was, but anyways, just hearing them in the background arguing, especially with Levi.
yeah.
It is the funniest thing in the entire. Tu madre, Levi. So Levi's learning how to say, no la tuya.
Oh my gosh. Oh goodness.
Aurora says she loves my 4 steps. Thank you so much. Oh, Hermana Mendoza, thank you so much. And other people are watching with you. Perfect. So yeah, so we got some good activity.
Yeah.
There. Yeah, I think one of the biggest the biggest things there is just you have to be able to put yourself in that position and just allow yourself to. I think when you don't have empathetic listening or you can't be empathetic is because something else is ruling your heart, which is just pride.
Yeah.
It's just like, I can't be wrong. I'm always right, or I'm right. And then why isn't this person listening to me? And they personalize it, and then you can't struggle. And I think a lot of the challenges that we've been having and the challenges that we were talking about in the pre-show,
Yeah.
it's because of that.
My way, or like, it's either or. It's
Yeah.
not that both of us can be right,
Right.
or both of us can be wrong.
Right. And it's that. That's it, which I didn't even think about. But it's the fact, like, well, like, here I am. I'm supposed to support you, and I can't imagine with like what you're going through, but I have to make it about me right now. You're not listening to me, and so yeah, it's pride.
Oh, that's the hardest.
It's so pride.
That's so hard.
What
I think, it's just an experience that comes to mind with regards to what you were saying is, I remember talking to my mom, maybe it was a while ago. I think it was her. But since losing my dad, obviously it's been very hard, and my mom has been receiving a lot of support from those around her, those that love her.
no.
But I do know I've heard her be on the phone, but I've heard people being like, I'm thinking one particular experience when both her and I were in the car. It happened a while ago. I don't even know who it was, to tell you the truth. I can't remember. But I remember listening and just my mom being the one comforting them. Right. And so then I thought, I was like, I get it that you're trying to be supportive and whatnot, but I'm like, if it ends up being that you're calling and somehow the other person is telling you it's going to be okay, like it's just one of those things. We have to be more mindful that if we are supporting someone else, that we are, kind of like keeping them in the forefront of our minds, not switching it around and making it about us, which I potentially probably have done too.
Yeah, our moms have gotten together really close, and
Yeah.
and they've been going through a lot. And so I don't know if your mom tells you the conversations that they have.
Please do share. Let's share with our listeners.
Well, I'm not gonna go into detail. It's like letting out our laundry. But yeah, no, it is. But it's very interesting that it. So my mom's hardcore Latina, old school. Like, she'll waterboard our kids, right? Like, she's
Part of disciplining.
I'm telling you right now, she's done it. She's not afraid to go to jail, back to jail, right? Like, she's she's got her gang waiting for her, right? So she's hardcore. But with your mom, there's a very and my mom she's a very soft lady, but I've been seeing like this ministering side to her that I've never seen before. Like it's just this wanting to connect with your mom, and it's all because she knows what your mom is going through right now, right? Because she went through it 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? So can you imagine if this is how we treated everybody?
Yeah.
Didn't matter whether or not we've gone through what they've going through. It doesn't matter. The point is, can we put ourselves in their position to feel for them? Our whole persona will change. And I think a lot of the crap that's happening out in the world right now, and even political views and whatever, there is a sense of you're wrong and I'm right, and you can't put yourself in their position and just be mindful of their feelings.
I agree. It humanizes the other person. It's a lot easier to be angry with someone that you don't know and you have these ideas and thoughts about. But as soon as you see their humanity, right? The fact that there could be a parent, they could be a child. They laugh at things. They're a real person. I think as soon as we connect with that, I think definitely can change.
Yeah. So I have another comment here by Alexander. He says, my kids, I tell them to basket when they ask which basket. What? I'm not saying that.
I do miss that we don't have the actual full thing here, so I can like see it too.
So I did send an email to live stream and to one stream, and then they said that there is a way. I haven't figured it out yet. All the moms are not born here. They beat your butts. Yeah. Moms, old school moms know how to.
Different generation, right?
Yeah.
It's not like the generation now.
They know how to throw down. Oh, my mom, you know what she did the other day? So we had a party here, and so she did one of the flinches. Can I tell you how scared I got? I'm a 44-year-old man, and my mom does one of these. I was like, I'm sorry, Mama. I was like, what just happened? I'm 44. I'm double her size. My mom's an assassin. But yeah, it's so again, it's very neat to see her, this tender side of her, because she's been able to connect like on a different level with your mom.
It's just different when you're connected with someone that has gone through the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the power of community, right? The power of a village. And that's why we're not perfect. Not always will be able to fully understand what someone else is going through. But if we find those people who have gone through similar things and we're open and vulnerable about it, a lot of amazing things can happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. No, I agree. Empathetic listening. It is hard.
Yeah.
Have you actually I had a question for you. And then
I'm so thirsty. I'm like, is it dry in here?
It's not. Well, you had the thing blasting.
I'm like, I'm so thirsty.
No, hang on one second. Where is it? So I apologize right now. I should have had this deck ready for you, but where is it? I had a question for you. Where is it? If you could, no, stop it. If you could, is there an experience with empathetic listening that you're really disappointed of, that if you can go back to your past self, how would you correct it?
Like I've had so many that I've been disappointed in.
Okay.
Which one to choose?
It's not a confession station.
I'm trying to think of a particular one. Nothing in specific comes to mind, but I know I've had conversations where I made it about me. And people are perhaps sharing their struggles, and I'm like, oh, let me tell you what I did to get over that struggle.
Do you notice it right away, or do you notice it until after you leave the conversation? Be like, crap, I shouldn't have done that.
Well, now I'm more mindful of it, so now I notice it more frequently. Before, when I wasn't mindful of it, I was just annoyed. I was like, why don't people want to, why do you tell me your things then? I know. Listen, growth is a process. Let's be real. I'm like,
So hang on, was it, that people would come to you with a problem and you'd be annoyed? You'd be like,
because I'm like, why are you asking me that? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you're not listening to what I'm saying.
oh, okay.
Right? So
Okay. So
it-
you would be giving your advice, and then they're like, "But I'm struggling here," and be like, "Well, I'm giving you the answers." And
Yeah, exactly. Be like, well, you're struggling with this. I know if you do X, Y, Z, your struggle is going to be better. But in reality, I'm like, here's the thing about problem solving. You have to do it yourself in order for you to grow through it.
okay,
Somebody else cannot solve your problem. So if I'm stepping in and I'm like trying to solve their problem, it's not meaningful. Yeah, maybe it makes me feel good that I'm like, hey, I shared my answers kind of thing. But I'm like, it doesn't work because it doesn't help people to grow. And what people crave is growing. So I've had now I do catch myself when I'm doing an autobiography because that's honestly where my advice comes from is
your TED Talks.
exactly. Everybody knows my TED Talks. Mike is like, he tells me, he's like, Maria, stop talking in platitudes. I was like,
In platitudes? What the heck is that, dude?
I don't know. Let's Google it. He always says that. I think it's just like feel good stuff that doesn't really tell you the how.
Yeah.
It's just kind of overall blanket statements. I think it is, right?
Yeah.
Which I sometimes do that, but then at the same time, I'm like, well, you can't. I do it because there's so many other steps involved to the XYZ that I'm telling you that I don't want to get into because it's going to take me forever, and it's always nicer just to get a. Don't worry, you'll get through it. But no, so I'm a lot better now.
So Charmaine Martin says, she says, when you go through something and then someone in your life, like a friend or another loved ones, go through the exact same thing, it is very easy to empathize with that person and connect with them when we connect with that person.
It's so true. Because you can, I mean, with us, losing our dads was I would say that was a bonding experience for both you and I. I think we achieved our next level
Yeah.
of friendship because of that.
Yeah. It's weird because in the span of 5 years or so, all my close friends, we all lost our dads.
That's crazy.
So you, Buddy Lewis, and then there's a couple of other friends. It was the craziest thing. Like every year, there was a father passing.
It's so
right?
crazy,
yeah,
right?
It was very So
It's so hard. But yeah, it like difficult. That's why you got to share your difficulties sometimes.
Yeah.
Because when you share them, it creates that bonding experience with somebody else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about you? Have you had those moments where you've gone into autobiography mode?
No, I think so. That when I was speaking with that kid, when he went into his story, I'm like, I know what's wrong with you, and then I started like
For 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
You
right?
gave him your glasses and was like, you unthankful kid. I'm telling you what to do.
But it was more embarrassing than anything. Like and at that moment, because it was like, that's not what's wrong with me. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, it's the second part of the story. And I literally
You cringed.
I did. I felt like I was shriveling up inside, and I'm like, I cannot believe I just did that. Now, mind, this was years ago. Like we're talking about 8-9 years ago. So early on in the business, right, of coaching, but it was a huge, phenomenal experience. And every time anybody says to me, hey, I need your help or whatever, that's the story that always comes up. It's like I need to hear. And then right before I'm about to say anything, or right before, and it doesn't matter when it happens, when the question happens, but the question is, do you want me to just hear, or do you want to hear some advice, or like, are you looking to get some advice? And ever since then, it's just gone uphill. Like it's been good.
So you don't think that you've done it like recently or anything?
I don't. You're smirking because no. Hang
I'm
on
just wondering.
Hang on one second. You're smirking. Because if I say no, you're like, well, do you remember? So
No, in all honesty, I'm just asking.
Don't be pulling a lawyer crap on me, man. It's like, were you on the night of?
I'm just asking. Not that I have anything in my pocket to be like, well, let me tell you.
Because that's what it feels like. I'm talking right now. And you have this smirk on your face, like she's ready to give it.
I'm always smiling, Miguel. You should know that about me.
Have I done it recently? No.
Take it, come in. I'm just kidding.
No.
I'll
I have not.
okay, can I tell?
What? See, I knew you had something.
No.
Why are you such a liar, dude?
Because I've seen you interact with Tegan, and you're like, "No, Tegan, I'll tell you what's wrong." And she's like sharing, and you're like, "That's not it. This is what's wrong." I'm like,
Because that's not the same. That's not the same. Because no, we're all sharing experience. So it might be like something happens, and she'll give her point of view, and I'm like, well, that's wrong. And
by
so
her
this
point of view, he means like when she's sharing how she's feeling.
No, that's not it, dude. That's not it at all. Oh my gosh, no. And I asked you if you had something in your pocket, and you're such a liar.
I'm just kidding.
You're such a liar.
Hey, I'm not judging. I do the same thing.
Oh my gosh. But no, so let me answer like this. Mindfulness. You're such a horrible person. You're such a horrible person.
This is this guy all high and mighty. No, I haven't done it in the last 20 years.
Well, in the last, back in October 12th. No. So mindful. Consciously, I don't think I've done it.
Yeah, no, I know. Because this behavior happens unconsciously, right? Like I'm the same way. If I do it, it's unconsciously, not because I'm like trying to be a jerk or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so consciously.
So that I am aware of, I haven't done it. And that experience that you're saying, we were discussing an event that took place, and then she gave her opinion, and then I gave my opinion. So you're the worst, eh? Watch. Next time, I'm going to trap you the same way. Call you out in front of everybody. So, let's see what our audience are saying. Maybe they chastise you.
Or maybe you, because they've been present. They're like, oh my God, I remember when.
I hope not. Don't blast me on. Yes, but some people need you to baby through it, and now people can't handle simple instructions. Yeah, some people can handle simple instructions.
It's just where they're at, right? Like, if have you ever felt so overwhelmed that somebody's telling you something that even though it's super simple, you're like, what?
Yeah.
I've been there, right? So I think sometimes when people are going through problems, that's what it feels. They know someone's talking with them. They know they're telling them how to potentially solve it, but it's kind of like, what? How do I do that? I've felt like that before.
Yeah. That's happened because I've given advice when all they and see, this is the thing is, right?
Tell me when. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Let me just
horrible. So what I'm saying is that's happened because they weren't ready to listen.
Yeah. And everybody's ready at their own time, right?
Because I went in giving advice. I think we should leave the show. Like, I think this is good now. We're in a good spot.
I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with me laughing. It has nothing to do with you. It's a nervous tick.
Oh, it's a nervous tick?
I get nervous being online, you know?
So I'm looking for a new co-host.
I've been fired as of today.
Jason Palmer was ready to fill in the seats.
100%. He's like, put me in, coach.
So next week when you guys log in, we might actually have a separate different setup.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
so I bought a couple of tables, and so I'm just rearranging my entire studio. There's a lot of stuff that you don't see on this side.
And that you don't see back there, too.
Yeah, you don't see it. Well, you have a wheeze, eh?
I know.
What is happening right now?
We should just end it on a high.
My gosh, this is the saddest thing ever. Maria, what did you learn today? What was your takeaway? VS takeaway.
My VS takeaway was to, you know what? I like your step process. I don't think I've ever thought about it. Maybe I just kind of left it like, I didn't know what to say, so I just kind of left it ambiguous or weird. Mm-hmm. But I like the whole step process of being like, you know what? Thank you for telling me and trusting me enough. And then just being like, hey, like, if you wanted to know some things or if you want some feedback, let me know. I can help you out. I don't know. Just kind of make it my own, but I think I need to develop something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you? What's your takeaway?
The biggest takeaway is don't fall for your trap. If you ask me a question, just know that you have something in your pocket.
That's not true. I did not have it in my pocket. It just came to me.
And I knew it because I saw the smirk. Like there was a little smirk there. And I'm like, she has something prepared. So I have to be careful what I say. But
this guy,
here I
almighty,
am.
20 years I haven't done that.
I
Look
never
at
said
me.
20. I said, anyways, you know what I said. But that was the thing, my biggest takeaway. Just be careful what I tell Maria.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining in and being here with us. To all the people that commented, we love you. We thank you so much. We hope that you had a few BS takeaways yourself and that you get empowered to be a better version of you out there.
Absolutely. And always make sure to like, share, subscribe to all of our information, which is right up there. Again, our Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that other good stuff. Make sure that you visit our website. And again, the best support that you can give us is by liking, sharing, and subscribing to all of our social sites.